Hello and welcome everyone to the First Circuit Podcast, episode 19. We are joined again today by me, Biter, and our
Bart.
two other co-panelers here. Yep, Old Bob
Hey, everybody. No Bob.
and Ian.
Hi.
Today we will be discussing, first I think, should we say, there's been MechCon and a whole bunch of things and patch and everything else. There's a lot of us stuff for us to cover. And since it's just the three of us, we're missing a lot of people. We're going to be spreading this out over the next few weeks. But
Yeah.
for today, we're going to focus on the most immediate stuff, which is going to be the MechCon patterns, the patch notes, the HellSpawn, and some of the upcoming events, at least for next week. Up until next week. Next week, though, for the First Circuit Podcast episode number 20, we will at least be discussing the big December 27th giveaway and the Sun Spider. And I shall now hand over to Ian, who shall give us a quick overview of MechCon, which hopefully we will, discuss in great detail in future weeks.
Thank you a lot, Biter. So then, buckle up. There is a whole lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm just gonna really quickly go through everything that happened at MechCon. First off, if you wanted to cringe a bit, go and watch the first few minutes of MechCon. Our Sean Lang cosplayed Diamond Shark on stage with a shark onesie. So
Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually.
The MechWarrior Online Finals, they did a three-way bracket to actually get 3 teams in there. Eon, 228, EMP. As we kind of expected, Eon stomped 228, EMP stomped Eon, both of that twice, and EMP won. It was mostly meta tryhard, in my opinion quite boring. If you want exciting gameplay though, stick with us for the next 4 hours and watch last 24-hour live stream.
It was...
As for the...
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
ahead,
man.
Bob, if you want to say something.
I was just going to interject. It was actually pretty interesting that all the maps were actually canyon until they actually have polar, which that was actually a great milestone, I guess. That was fun.
Yes.
Though we don't want to get too sidetracked.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Through this, Bob, so that, because... Yep.
Okay, continuing quickly, the 3 presentations. Catalyst Games, they came out with 2 new starter packs for Battletech Tabletop. If you're into that kind of thing, those starter sets are going to come with maps, world set sheets, the usual thing. One of those is going to have 2 mechs, the other one's going to have 8. They're supposed to be really cheap entry-level starter packs, so I'm excited for that. The Battletech presentation was, in my opinion, the best part of the whole day. They showed some pictures of their new mech lab, which is nothing exciting. But then they had a super fun showcase game between Mitch Gittleman and Jordan Weissman, which are basically the 2 biggest names in the whole Battletech franchise. They had plenty of jokes, and it was basically 2 old friends playing each other, neither of which had any idea how to play their own game. It was a giant clusterfuck.
Yeah, that thing was great.
That was awesome.
It was amazing. So, moving on to what you all hear for the MechWarrior Online stuff. Obviously, the Sun Spider got announced. The new map is announced, a urban map, in my opinion, kind of River City-like, if you go behind the Citadel. It's supposed to be Solaris 7. Also, the MechLab 2.0, which has been teased for a long time. You can walk in your MechLab, 360-degree camera around your maps. The Solaris game mode, so besides quick play and faction play, we're gonna get a new game mode. It's gonna feature 1v2 and 2v2 tournament style games. It's gonna have 3 mechs at the start. The Solaris Arena we already know, and something that looks like Forest Colony, as well as something that looks like Frozen City. They're gonna be divisions, sponsors, repair costs, starting fees. It's gonna have a 3-month season. There's a whole lot of it. Go and watch the trailer for details, or stick around for future podcasts when we discuss it in depth. All of that is going to come around March. Also, custom geometry. That's a thing that was teased since the beta of MechWarrior Online. It's finally going to come. You can basically weld stuff onto your mechs, which is going to be purely cosmetic. It's going to come out of loot boxes. As far as we could see in the trailer, there is no store system for those cosmetics. So just a heads up. They're going to make money somehow.
Solaris, I think. They want to.
Yeah, all of this basically summarizes the big Solaris page, which is going to come out in March. And as for MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, to kind of wrap up the whole MechCon thing, MechWarrior 5 is going to release in December 2018. It's going to have 4-man co-op, mission-based, which means you can invite your friends to join you on single missions. And it is going to have full mod support in the Steam Workshop.
You're very excited
which
about that.
basically means the community will make MechWarrior great again. It's gonna be our dream game once it's released. So, source material, if you want to read up on that, go to mwomercs.com, go to battletechgame.com, and on Altbob's channel you can actually find all of the presentation panels uploaded individually. As Spider already mentioned, all of these topics will be discussed in depth in future podcasts. And with that, thank you for sticking around with me. You guys take over.
Okay.
I think that was a fairly good wrap up. Yes.
Yeah, that was definitely. I'm having some tech difficulties. Just give me a second. For some reasons, and I have a network error on the MechWarrior online site.
On their site. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're streaming fine, I assume.
Yeah, basically showing up. I'm streaming fine, but it's not showing up on the MechWarrior online thing
Mm-hmm.
on
Well,
Twitch,
to
basically.
at least continue on from the points of
Yeah, go ahead.
MechCon, for all those MechCon supporters and attenders, we should at least first cover the MechCon camo is now available, and you have to redeem it through the site. I think there have been some forum posts as well that some people have been showing off the I suppose it's the scheme on all of the mechs, which is quite nice.
And which ones did you pick for that, though? I'm just
I
curious.
didn't get the supporter packs, so
Oh, okay.
I didn't really look into it much.
Oh, it's well worth
Oh,
it,
my.
man. Yeah, I got the Rifleman, the Locust, the Bushwhacker, and I forgot one other one. Because you only get 4 if you just have the supporter pack, but if you have MechCon, you get them on all your mechs, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if you attend, you get all of them unlocked. Ian, did you get the supporter pack?
No, I did not. Which is why I'm so silent about this topic.
Yeah, okay. It was just
I'm ashamed.
God, it was so worth it, man. 10% plus all the bonus and stuff that gave you. Oh, God, it's so worth it. Well, I got this recorded, so I'm going to have to put it on YouTube. And for some reason, it's not showing up on Twitch. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry. Yeah, basically, the supporter pack is well worth it. We and then we get the four Mexicans with the. Sorry, I'm gonna just repeat this. I'm trying to figure this out too. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
Let it take over.
Sorry, man. I'm like flustered on this. It's like, oh my God, what's going on?
Oh no, I can't get the site. I can't read the details as they talk about them.
Damn it.
All right, so yeah, well, at least me and Ian have showed all the interest we've had in those new skins. I mean, they're pretty enough, I think. It's just, I think they are at least a big step up from like the Dazzle pattern, for example.
Yeah.
That's always available on most mechs. Like this is actually aesthetically pleasing, which is good. I do hope, to some degree at least, they become available some other means, like for MC eventually.
You think so? I don't know if that would be a good idea because that makes people not want to go to MechCon for next year because they'll just come out with the C-bills like later on.
Yeah, though one has to always pay premium, and perhaps they pay
Well,
like
yeah.
faction colors amounts to get it eventually. Who knows? But that's just at least from my perspective. You know, even if it's like you really like that paint, that camo, you got the supporter pack and you put it on 4 mechs, and there's a new mech that comes out that you really love. Maybe you really like the Black Nana for some reason, and you want to put that scheme on it, but of course it's not available for the Black Nana. That's yeah, at least from my position, I think that'd be a problem.
Yeah, no, basically, I'll let everyone else know too. Like these are permanent picks for your mechs, so make sure you know what you're doing, which mechs you use a lot, not like the mothball mechs you have in your inventory. So just let everyone know about that. It's final.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot about that. Sorry about that.
All right. So our next topic to cover will be the patch notes. The details of which was only released like a little bit before the actual
I know
notes
it was
went
like right
live.
there.
I imagine at least all the people involved in like MechWarrior Online were quite busy with MechCon, and they had to, you know, had to pull everything together at the end, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, so it introduced the HellSpawn, which we'll discuss a little bit more later. But certainly a little bit changes here and there. stuff like quirk changes to quite a few of the inner sphere mechs, and a few changes to I think a few weapons as well.
Actually, I thought what was really cool about the command wheel, you can now say flank left or flank right, which is interesting in case you do not want to go talk on chat, which usually happens in tier 1 games. You say flank right, flank left. So that's kind of cool. Yeah,
What
I
I
like
would
that.
like to bring up out of those patch notes is basically the buffs that happen to mostly the Orion on the Zeus with those 10% weapon heat chain quirks. The Orion is a really good mech now. Go and play it.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
always
good.
a great good mech, but yeah,
It's
they were
even
both
better now.
gifted. They were gifted cooldown quirks, but that meant you pumped out a lot of damage quickly, and you filled up your heat bar, and then, well, you better be a guy who takes cool shots.
True.
Or
But
you
I
were
like
me and just shut down for a minute.
Yeah.
now.
So yeah, that is very, and I'm quite a big fan of the Orion and Zeus, and I in fact like with the Black Friday sale, I got the Protector, and I made quite a good build for it. But then they gave the 10% heat thing, and now it runs so silky smooth. It's brilliant.
Well, that's cool. I know for me, I'm very happy about the Uzil with the plus 10% weapon range quirk. Since it is a support mech, it's really nice if I could kind of like pop, shoot, type thing. That's really cool about that. But also the Panther, which I'm a big fan on too. Actually turns out, just like Biter says, it turns out to be like a Wolfhound now with the increased mobility rates. And that's nice. I like that. Good times.
Yeah, at least the Panther with its limited engine cap is actually almost as agile as a Wolfhound.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because otherwise, there was really not much point necessarily to the Panther other than its weapon quirks, I think. Because it has the problem with the Panther at least is limited engine cap and then really awkward weapon hardpoints. Always just energy in the arm and missile in the center torso.
Yeah.
There's only so much.
The Panther is basically supposed to be a single PPC, and there's not a whole lot you can do with that.
Well, the kitty cat is 2. We have 2 now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Compared to the Wolfhound, at least, the Panther, with its awkward hardpoints, I almost feel like it should have really good agility so that you can poke in and out and really PPC people like in a really annoying way.
Yeah, the Panther, and then the Cicada got some ability increases as well. I got 3 of those things. I use them sometimes. I mean, just if I'm really bored or just don't have anything else to do, I just use them. But I'm not a big fan of those cicadas.
The Cicada, in the right hands, kind of skirmishing backwards and forwards using medium pulse lasers, can be quite effective. However, it is quite an easy target to hit.
Yeah.
And before, at least, it was quote unquote the agile 40 tonner, but it was less agile than the assassin. And it is still less agile than the assassin and still easier to hit than the assassin, but at least it's only just slightly worse than the assassin.
True.
In terms of agility.
I mean, like, do you think all these weapon quirks and everything, the changes to the quirks, actually be better for all the different mechs out there? Well, obviously, yeah, but do you think it was a good idea for them to do it?
I think all the ones they gave quirks to were ones that generally sort of needed it.
Okay, yeah.
Like the Azil, I always kept people at arm's length, and this is helping me keep them at an even longer arm's length.
Exactly. A very good support mech.
And otherwise, well, I was kicking bottom in the Orion, not so much in the Zeus. It's kind of tricky with the Zeus, but kicking bottom in the Orion, and now it kicks so much more bottom.
Agreed.
Yeah, the Orion didn't need the heat gen quirks at all. It was already super strong.
Wow.
Just so everyone knows, let's introduce Aethermech, who, due to changes in work schedule, might not be with us in the future.
Yeah, it looks like I'm probably going to be working the vampire hours, so this is going to be my last podcast.
No, that sucks. No.
Which means you'll have the mostly sane people in the group, hanging out.
Hey, who call insane, man?
You're more sane than me.
Major ones, maybe?
But like, we will actually miss you, though. Aether, you bring in some good insight about different builds and everything else, and you will be missed, and I'm sure the audience will miss you as well too. A lot of love here, man.
Waka, 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 waka.
But yeah, so they've buffed up a whole slew of inner sphere mechs that you don't necessarily see so often. And I've been seeing a lot of stupid Orion builds out there. I've been laughing at them.
Well, what have you been seeing out there?
Like people take the Onion V and then we'll throw in like a UAC 20 because it has UAC 5 quirks, like UAC 20, and then a whole bunch of like PPCs. And it's just like, no, this is so silly.
Wow.
I've seen some Zeuses running around, but they very quickly disappeared. Same with the Orions. Oh, and there was someone who came out in their Protector, and they didn't take a Gauss rifle because that 20% Gauss rifle cooldown's scary.
So the saddest build I've seen on an Orion, particularly, was on a VA, and it was Imrim 40 Rack 5.
I saw quite a few Lerm Orion VAs.
Yeah,
really?
I'm gonna say Lerm's worse.
Now everyone harps on lerms. Like sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but it just all depends on what the pilot does. And plus, also too, if you don't know what you're doing, don't use lerms, especially in tier 1 games, because a lot of people are going to hate you.
50% cooldown on Lerms is actually not too bad for the Orion VA.
Yeah.
It's just that thing is such a beautiful brawler. Why would you have to do that? Then again, people take Lerm on the Scorch.
That's because they're lazy.
Yeah. Or the Nova, basically. I've been seeing those like Nova 80 builds. No, not Nova. I'm sorry. The
Supernova?
No. Oh, damn it.
Cat Mark II?
No. You stupid clan mechs. Damn it. I forgot what it is.
Lerm Spirit Bearer is hilarious.
Yeah, that is a funny build.
Boiler.
Which tonnage limit there?
Night Gear. The Night Gear.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. It's not too bad, but I don't know. Like
it's
usually
not as
you
funny
just.
As it was on launch day with the old Terra Therma.
Oh yeah. Definitely. So
time watch me Elrim and that thing from the bottom of the caldera at like 300 meters range. It was hysterical, and he was so pissed off.
So like next we got the ballistics, and with the I don't know. Are we done with the quirks and everything? Sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. The next are the ballistics with the heavy machine gun, the clan light, clan machine gun, and clan heavy like machine gun. And I wanted to change a lot of different things to make the heavy machine guns a little bit better. Because I see a lot of people, I rarely use heavy machine guns. This kind of like increases the spread from 1.1, range increase to 100 from 80, max range increase to 200 from 180, and crit multiplier increase to 7 from 6. So that kind of increases for people to want to go use that 1 ton for a heavy machine gun. But of course, it's a lot of tonnage to go use.
I still don't feel too much necessarily that heavy machine gun is worth it. But was it regular machine guns? That's 170 meter range.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. 160, I think. And now instead of it being 80 for heavy machine guns, it's 100, which is nice, but it's still point blank.
Yeah.
Which increasing the optimum range by 20 is a nice way to mitigate its problems, but I think it's just the huge investment required to use heavy machine guns does not necessarily really make it worth it much. And Inner Sphere is a faction that's really lacking in many machine gun mechs. There's just a couple out there.
Oh, there's an Arrow and like which other ones?
That's it.
Jaeger Mech has 6.
Yeah, that's about it.
So the ideal machine gun mech is a light or a medium, and in that way, Inner Sphere has almost 0 because there's no mass ballistic light or medium mech that could carry a payload of machine guns other than like the Arrow.
Yeah, just the Arrow basically does it right now. I mean, you can do like 4 heavy machine guns on an Ember, and if you get right behind somebody, 4 small pulse and heavy machine gun someone's bow, and it's okay. It's just you might as well just have taken clan stuff.
Well, the clans basically they reduced. They actually made them worse because a reduction clan
increased the spread a little bit. Yeah. Reduce the critical. It's not going to be that big of a deal.
But to make better account for the lighter weights, yeah, true. I mean, like still, if you're using machine guns to kill things, you better have at least 6. Just like the Arrow does.
Yeah, well, to give the overview for the audience at least, yes. So the Inner Sphere heavy machine gun has been buffed up a bit, but it's only slight changes. I don't think it's really going to make it viable, particularly since the Inner Sphere struggles to find machine gun mechs. With the clan side, because their machine guns are also half the weight.
Yeah.
And they've got their fancy XL engines, and they've got a whole slew of lights and.
Easy button. Sorry. Go on. Go on.
Yeah, they've got so many mechs that can fit a lot of machine guns. I think it does make sense to actually have some detriments compared to inner sphere machine guns. So, yeah, they've increased the spread and they've reduced the crit multiplier. So even though the clans are be able to mount a crazy number of machine guns, they don't do such a crazy amount of stripping components and hitting just that one component.
Yeah.
I will say, what is it here? Yeah, it's well, I will be interested to see how it goes because at least, in my mindset, at least, if you're using machine guns or heavy machine guns, you're using that almost point blank range, so spread usually doesn't have too much of an effect. But light machine guns spread always has quite a big impact. Before it was balanced such that it was fairly pinpoint at optimum range with a spread of
Yeah.
what's it 0.5, but now it's 0.7. That's like a 40% increase to its spread, meaning actually you're not pinpoint an optimum range, and a lot of clan light machine gunners want to be able to reach out that 500 meters, but doing that, you're firing like MRMs probably at that point. Like, I'll be curious to see.
It's not quite that bad.
Yeah. I haven't
So-
actually. I don't use much of the clan light machine guns, but yeah.
The last couple of nights I've been playing a lot in big, heavy, fat mechs. I've been the bait for all the machine gun lights, pretty much. And what I've seen is from about 400 meters where they tend to engage. The machine gun spread, like if they're shooting at a side torso, it'll clip the arm a little bit, it'll clip the CT a little bit, but it's still mostly on the torso.
Mm-hmm.
Now it might just be because the location of where the machine guns are on those mechs, it makes it, the convergence is pretty good, but it'll be interesting to see what the actual changes look like given more time.
Yeah, it's just at least I would say with the light machine gun, spread is much bigger impact because you're using that at longer ranges.
Yeah.
And the light machine gun is always sort of the much more flexible machine gun of the whole bunch, whereas the others are very much sort of knife fight weapons.
Well, and it doesn't help that they all have the same rate of fire, but the light machine gun has more ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little
True.
bit more ammo, yes, but yeah, it's the
I mean-
biggest thing is just its range typically.
And plus, a lot of times, like I spread them with actually like medium lasers or something comparable to good and have the same amount of range and optimal range as well. That way, at least I'm gonna do as much damage as possible at optimal range with everything. It helps me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will get plenty of machine gun information when the fish drops.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Well, plenty of nerfing on that one.
We'll see how it goes, because the interesting thing is, whilst the machine gun clan lights are pretty damn effective, they aren't necessarily so ridiculously prevalent as it was back in the day when crits for the machine guns were super uber duper high. Like
Super duper.
a lot of the people who played those mechs sort of, they didn't like being made of paper mache.
Yeah, true.
And a lot of the way people play them, they feel confident because they have the machine guns, but then they sort of just stand there and fire like a regular mech. And you really need to actually get your light cap on and think really sneakily, which I think a lot of pilots struggle with because they take the light machine guns and some lasers and they just fight like a medium mech, and that actually gets them killed.
Well, basically,
I
to
love
open up the armor.
I love abusing the clan machine gun lights because they usually don't have a clue how to be a light.
Yeah, they're not actually hugging the target mech; they're standing off and trying to shoot them at range.
Mm-hmm.
But they're typically not far enough away that streaks can't reach out and get them, and so they die quickly.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was watching TTP's stream and commenting on that, and I was explaining, oh yeah, I don't even use lasers. I just use a flamer and a laser AMS, so I have better turn speed, so I can run around them in circles and keep them shut down. And they were like, oh no, 3 heavy medium lasers, 30 damage alpha. That's amazing. And I was like, yeah, but the problem is people usually just move up and go, look at this, I've got 30 damage. And it's just 30 damage. It's a lot of my mechs have an alpha much bigger than that, And he often fell into the trap of sort of, aha, I've come behind a marauder, pew, and he does a big huge alpha into its butt. It turns around and he's like, oh no, it's turned around, and he sort of stands there waiting for the heavy medium lasers to come off their long cooldown. And once finally he's received a letter telling him that his weapons are off cooldown, delivered by the postman. He's like, aha, right, I'm just gonna burn through his leg. And it's like, yes, you have a 30 damage alpha, but you're just standing in front of him, and his his team. Yeah, he's been locked onto. The Marauder's shooting him. Lerms are coming in. Teammates are jumping on top of him, and he's like, "Oh no, I died!" I'm like, "Yep, that's what happened with the clan light machine. The clan machine gun mechs. They take a weapon with range, and then they go brawl, and they don't have. They're just giving up on damage, and they think they can kill everything when they can't.
Well, and he's also not a light mech pilot.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about knowing when to squirrel out and bail.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I mean, he did strip the leg of the Marauder because he was, he put 2 burns into it. He was staring at it all that time. It's just like, no, the lasers, they're fooling you. They aren't that good.
So next we got the ER large lasers for the clans. They definitely increase the heat of them, and cooldown increased from 3.75 to 4. So I didn't think they actually needed this, though. To tell you the truth, the clan ER like lasers working fine, did their thing, and it was okay. I didn't mind it at all. But I don't know why they actually would bring this into it.
If you read the description thing, they're saying they're trying to bring it in line with the Inner Sphere counterparts.
But that shouldn't be, though, because they're better, like in lore, plus also in just normal. The clan ER lasers were much better than the Inner Sphere ones.
Yeah. In terms of balance, it's an interesting question. Like the clan large lasers are, of course, one of the big go-to weapons typically for long range. The Inner Sphere also does fairly well, like particularly like if you do a Battle Master or something with those high mounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought they were just fine. Fine the way it is. It was already increased with the like with the duration against the Inner Sphere
they've
ones.
already optimized the lasers 2 or 3 times now. And I think the bigger issue is people are still bitching about clan lasers and faction play because they're trying to fucking trade with clans at range.
Yeah, people don't do that, by the way.
Stop being fucking stupid.
And it's still like the nerf, if you want to even call it a nerf, it's minimal. So, I just ignore it, basically.
So okay, clan ERLers, we have some really cool HellSpawn stuff. You know what's really cool? I just want to say, like, Father Bill had, since he's a priest, he had the HellSpawn on his stream. It says exercise or bless, you decide. I thought that was the coolest title for him for the HellSpawn. That was great. Oh, okay, sorry. But the pitchfork, the wasp, the warhorn, and the demon girl. I like demon girl. It's pretty cool. I haven't heard the warhorn though. Yeah, have you guys heard the warhorn?
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, what does it sound like?
It's going sort of for the hellish theme.
Or what? Oh, really?
Yeah. Usually, at least, it might be if somebody could find that they upload the warhorns to a SoundCloud, don't they? If you want to show that to the stream.
I gotta find
it. Does sound rather hellish. I think it could be cooler, but it is actually fairly. It's okay.
I'll have to check it out then.
It's like a clash of what's it? Those plate things, the metal plate things, What are those
like
called?
gongs or something like that, or the I forgot what they're called.
Yes, I forget what they're called.
Just the big plate things.
But yeah, it's a clang, and then it's a short metal guitar riff.
Yeah. Then they actually had the titles and badges, which I don't know. We don't need stinking badges. I don't think anyone really cares about badges, do they?
No.
I've fished around for a couple of the cool looking ones, but I've kind of settled in on the Cyclops one.
Oh, okay.
I'm a founder, so that's it.
Just that's the only badge you need, huh?
Yeah.
And then it looks like they had a bunch of different things for like weapon placements, gap in the CT box for the Jenner, a bunch of different things.
We're talking about there's always a whole list of little bits and pieces that they've changed here and there. So I think the Raven and another one won't be dancing around on the floor. The
that sucks. I love
Nova's arm isn't crooked.
The Nova's arm is finally balanced out. It's so good. That has been bothering me for months, and it's
Yeah.
finally fixed.
The Mislinks finally has a kill monitor, so you can see how many kills you've got.
Oh,
That was always missing. One thing, I'm not sure if it's listed here, but I noticed at least once this patch was implemented, the third-person glitch thing on free cam has been fixed. So in if you do training, you can go into you can go free cam. You can fly around by pressing F5, and you could then press F3. You'll switch to third-person mode whilst in free cam. And what this did was it loaded up the cockpit, and you got to your mech would often look very different.
You get to see inside the cockpit with like no armor around, basically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some
Oh,
mechs,
it was cool.
because you couldn't see your body in the cockpit, they don't bother loading the body. So there's just a cockpit hovering in midair with a couple of arms around it.
The torso.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was great.
And that's been removed, sadly.
That sucks.
And I thought that was a feature.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm kind of sad that's been removed.
Probably like watch your stream, like watch us bust up laughing doing it, so that might have been it. So what's next on our list? It's the HellSpawn, correct?
Well, yeah, go on to the HellSpawn
That's the
now.
HellSpawn.
I think
Ooh,
only
the HellSpoon.
I have actually picked up and played the HellSpoon, but everyone's had a chance to shoot at the HellSpoon.
Most definitely.
Oh yeah, I shot it, and I think it's
soft.
tough. I think it's tough. It was a tough little bastard that I was chasing around.
Yeah, that's actually something quite interesting here. Like Bob actually thinks HellSpawn are really tough, and Bida, me, and I think Ada as well, we agree that the HellSpawn is squishy as hell.
Oh god, they're butter.
They're butter?
They just
Fucking
melt away.
butter. Unless you're shooting at them with like small lasers, they explode almost instantly. They just disappear.
I'm actually more in between. Like it can actually shield fairly well, kind of, and it's kind of tanky, but not that tanky. It's no Vindicator, and it's
No.
it's not a Night Star in terms of just waddling in and accepting your fate.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 45 ton
Since we're
mech.
talking about tankiness and shielding right now, maybe real quick, something we just tested with the hitboxes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the weapon door of the HellSpawn is actually no solid hitbox. You can shoot right through it, and it doesn't register damage, which is something I'm.
Say that again.
The
floating
weapon door of the left torso, when it's open up, you can't actually shoot the door.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't shoot the door because like with the Archer, it's got those big giant bunny.
I always
or
get
the
nailed on that.
catapult.
Then. Yeah.
The HellSpawn has its own little bunny ear on the left door, and that thing pops up just like the Archer kind of does. But that door does not have its own hitbox. You can't shoot it. So if you pop up that door and someone shoots at the door, the shots go straight through, and maybe hit something else of you, or just miss completely.
Well, that's interesting.
And that also, funnily enough, is true for even when it's closed, I think, wasn't it, Ian?
Yes, even when it's closed, you shoot right through it.
Yeah, when it's closed, if he's shooting from the side, even though it looks like it should hit the door, it's flying through and hitting the center torso.
That's interesting, man. Well, obviously they're going to fix that, though.
Possibly.
I don't know, maybe.
Most of the doors seem like, sort of imaginary objects in this game. So that's usually at least what the assumption I've run off.
The doors on the catapult, if you look at the shadow, are fixed, but the catapult actually moves, so the door shadow floats in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about PGI models and quality.
I am
because me trying to 3D print some of those models, they're not all that good.
But to go more into the hitboxes and what we discovered, first the door is imaginary and everything just sort of flies through it, open or closed. The other thing of a weird thing with the HellSpawn shape is it's got this kind of protruding nose. It's kind of almost maraudery shaped, that little, at least, it poking out like that.
It's the little dragon.
Yeah, a little dragon.
Yeah.
And the question is, of course, where's the CT? Where's the left torso? Well, we can see that it's the big missile door. And where's the right torso? And what we found, at least, is if you're shooting from the left-hand side and you're hitting the nose, the prow, most of that is actually the CT, whereas only the right side of that prow is the right torso.
Huh.
That's how they balanced out the hitboxes. And that is partly why I think at least the thing can be perceived as being typically fairly squishy, is I've seen a lot of Hellspawns getting caught out. And that's because that CT, quote unquote, that kind of little, that protrusion on the right-hand side is taking a lot of fire from the left of the mech and in front of the mech.
And they don't torso twist, huh?
I mean, that's the most ironic thing is if you torso twist and you show your left-hand side to the enemy, they will fire and it'll go through the missile door and hit your protrusion, and that will count as a CT hit.
Nice.
So this thing is kind of weird with controlling how damage comes through, and maybe in time they'll patch it or change it to make it so it has less CT death. So yeah, I've actually found the thing is fairly XL friendly, and it's really weird when people shoot at you because you think you're shielding with your left side where that's got all that extra armor, but it's not actually shielding.
So 2 more interesting things we found out. The protruding thing above the cockpit in the center of the mech, that tiny antenna array, counts completely as center torso, both front and back. So you can shoot that quite easily to chrome out center torso.
Yep.
And the other really interesting thing for me was the protruding side torso, like the big box. Anything behind the arm actually counts as a rear torso. So if you shoot the HellSpawn from the side, it's really easy to actually single out the rear torso of that mech.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Holy cow.
If you're showing your left side to the enemy, like 90 degrees to the side, you're showing them your CT and your rear left torso. It's great.
Yes.
That might explain why the streaks are chewing them up really badly.
Might be.
Because all I'm doing is launching clouds of streaks, and I just watch them explode.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
it doesn't help as well that the HellSpawn has such a big fat butt. Like it's got a huge back and a huge butt. It's if you're getting hit in the back, whilst people spread it around a bit, it's quite easy to do so.
Did you get a chance to read what I posted about the question from John?
Yeah, we did. At least I did, because I actually saw was this poll on Twitter about that.
Oh, really?
So, should I summarize it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Russ Bullock basically posted a poll on Twitter asking whether the HellSpawn missile pods should be removed or not. So, the idea was either get rid of those missile pods completely and remove the quirks that came with those missile quirks, or just leave them. And people were actually 50-50 about it.
Oh my god, remove the cancer growth.
Just so I understand as well a bit, like, so if you don't equip any missiles in the arms, it's still got that kind of little cancerous growth coming out of the mech, and that obviously makes the arm a lot easier to hit. And the question is, if you don't equip a missile, you don't have a missile point, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have the growth.
Yeah.
And there was also then the question of, if you don't have the growth, then you don't get the armor bonus.
Exactly.
Because you only get the armor bonus to the arms when that little growth is there.
So the thing is, though, something actually quite interesting that was commented on a comment on that poll. They don't have a functionality for conditional quirks, meaning they don't have the option to just check, do you have a missile in there? If so, give extra quirks. If not, don't give extra quirks. They don't have that functionality. So it's basically what he was asking about is do or die. Leave them in or take them off completely.
Well, I would probably just take them off completely, though. Like,
yeah, they're so ugly.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, it's an interesting thing. At least this, it all depends on the battle plan or the design intention, but behind the HellSpawn, because we're talking about its weird hitboxes, and the arms are actually not too bad as shields. They're not the best, but they're actually not too shabby. Though they do catch a lot of stuff, where people kind of miss you and they, hit the sides.
Yeah.
So I've had a fair number of times where, the unarmored arm, gets, easily destroyed much faster than the armored one does. I do like having that lower armor and having the bigger blob to help shield my really weird torsos.
I'll have to wait until it comes
What's
up
the
for
difference
seagulls.
between the arms?
Yeah, and there's also a trouble with the HellSpawn, at least, is a lot of them are very arm dependent, or a lot of their hard points are
Yeah.
in the arms.
So
Like,
it's gonna end up getting like a Phoenix Hawk like buff regardless of how it pans out, I think.
I do
Well-
hope this thing. I mean, it really depends how it pans out. I think. I mean, the HellSpawn is just a walking, confusing thing, and I wish it gets some confusing design goals behind it as well. Just make this thing have the weirdest torso twisting in the world, and I will love it.
I do like its feet.
Like I think the biggest suggestion I would say is that left torso doesn't even take that much damage because the CT is huge.
So they're changing hitboxes then.
Yeah, change the hitboxes or make the CT really tough. Like that would be hilarious. I want to run around as a giant super armored center torso.
That would also be my suggestion. Actually, slightly change the hitboxes. Make that weird, like a weird torso when you shoot from the side. Make that go away, and adjust the center torso a bit.
Did you get the hero? Fighter?
I just got the standard pack.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't look like they'd necessarily be that great, but I always like dorky mechs, so I had to get this dork, and it's so adorable. The biggest problem though is that high missile pod. It's really hard to knock with. Damn it, PGI! It feels like I'm not actually firing the thing.
So, like, which out of 3 out of the pack do you like the best then?
It's still really hard. Like, the biggest draw for this particular mech is the fact, obviously it's a 45 tonner with a lot of missile hardpoints. That isn't necessarily something that's been around much. Like, yeah, you've got the Vindicators with their 1 missile hardpoints all the time, except for the hero. And you got the Phoenix Hawks, which again, only 2 on the hero. And so finally we got a mech 45 ton for in a sphere with a lot of missile hardpoints, like up to 4. And it's also, you can go around with ECM and missile hardpoints. And the quirks as well are actually, at least for some of them, really interesting, though some are also really not. Like the 7D has a universal 10% cooldown. And I've been having a lot of experimentation and fun with that, but it's only got 2 missile hardpoints. It's hard to fit in a good missile loadout, and that sort of thing. You only got 45 tons, and fitting in a lot of missiles is really hard. Thankfully, it's actually quite XL friendly, which means I can put in big XL engine. And what I've been doing is like I've got Streak 12 for medium lasers or 3 Streak 6s, and I've actually pulled in some 760 damages, 750 damages with the 2 ECM mechs. The last one with 4 missile hardpoints is really interesting. Like, oh wow, 4 missile hardpoints. This is just the golden number to do some missile builds, but
But it's hard with
it's
a 45 ton mech though.
Yeah, it's only 45 ton mech, and it's only got a 5% MRM velocity, I think, or something like that. Yeah, sorry, 10%. Ooh.
Yeah, so I think part of the issues with it is just a 45 ton mech, and 45 ton mechs and smaller typically live or die on energy hardpoints because of their weight efficiency.
Yeah.
With the missile points, it's kind of the ideal LRM 5 boat, as much as I don't want to suggest this.
Oh god, no.
Because it's just it's kind of the tonnage constraints and that kind of thing. It fits the need for LRMs kind of well, and it's small enough to where group it's not eating up a lot of tonnage.
I'd say also the hard points are spread everywhere, so it's really hard to sort of just put everything in the torsos. And at least it depends on your preferences. Like, I really like running around with the ECMs because that means you could be a sneaky little guy. But because your weapons are spread out all over the place, you have to expose your whole mech to shoot things, at least with all the lasers.
Yeah.
Like, I think they've quirked this thing too conservatively, with its derpy hitboxes and its derpy hard points and its all that. I think it should sort of get Vindicator type stuff, and then that will be really fun because you're just like with the Vindicator, you have to generally fully expose. But you've got ECM tech, you've got jump jets, and you've got a lot of options actually. Once most of them gets at least a little bit of cooldown. All I need is that 10%, and I can actually work with it. But otherwise, it struggles a little bit.
Well, like basically like with the assassin, like that's a 40-ton mech, and you could actually have 4 like SRM6s, which works out very well. And with the 45, can you put 4 6s on there and run okay?
Yeah, I mean, one of them I have right now that Ian saw when we tested the hitboxes was SRM24 on a flamer with a
Ooh,
light
okay.
engine going 91 kph with a jump jet, and it's okay.
Okay.
I'm
Just
also
curious.
trying it's the one with the MRM quirk, so I tried 4 MRM 10s with flamer, and that actually was okay as well, but heat management was annoying.
The one thing that makes the assassin really good is the location of the hard points, because they're all so tight to the CT. So long as you can get within 50 meters of a target, preferably closer, it doesn't matter what you're actually aiming at, you're going to take that component away.
Yeah, for the most part, the assassin makes most of the health spawns quite redundant, other than the fact you can sort of, be an ECM mid-range harass build kind of thing, which the ECM, at least C-built ECM assassin doesn't do so well.
True.
But what would make those kind of builds better would be losing the goofy ass arm cancers that would cause you to lose your arms and the arm mounted lasers involved.
I don't even lose like I said though, I lose the unquirked arms faster than I lose the quirked ones. Like that little blob is actually kind of out of the way. And at least with the standard pack, all of that cancerous blobs is on the right hand side. And I'm usually
Shielding left.
I shield left, I shield right, and I spread the damage all over. That's a lot of the times I actually die with most of my hit points stripped from the mech.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I just don't torso twist well enough, and mechs that are supposed to be good at it to be able to do it with something that
I mean, I'm gonna have to
really awkward.
Sorry, like I'm gonna have to wait till it comes out in C-bills and check it out then, basically.
Yeah. I hope they do give it another pass, maybe give it a certain role. Also, the constant CT defs, give it CT armor or spread out those hitboxes.
Yeah.
I think this is going to join my pile for the Bushwhacker. There's too ugly to play.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I think I agree with this on general, though, that the Assassin is just so much better a missile mech for the most part. This thing, it needs a little motivation to really become the derpy machine of my dreams.
The machine of your dreams.
Well, and to be fair, everyone remembers it as the first mech he got from like MechWarrior 4 or whatever it was, and everyone's like, "Yep, never even used it."
Yeah, you sell it as quickly as possible.
No. Well, we'll see. Basically, as far as like how it goes, I don't know. Just my experience on fighting these things like crazy, I would have to say it's pretty tough. Basically, it's there. I mean, it's not the best mech in the world, but it is there. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's more diversity to a game that really needs diversity. So I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And it's not overpowered when it initially comes out.
Yeah, true. So what's next on the agenda? We have
all the events.
Oh god, there's a ton of freaking events.
We got like 10 minutes to cover.
I know.
So first things first, at least they're continuing with the mech advent. So mech calendar advent thing. Every day do a thing, a little easy thing, and you get 50 MC and a cockpit item.
I mean, literally, like play
same
1 or
old,
2 games, you're going to do this.
But I think the bigger news will be for us to cover is the loot bags.
Oh god, the best thing.
Stocking stuffers.
Stocking stuffers.
Although I am kind of upset about that.
Are there bagpipes? Can we get more bagpipes?
No, there's no bagpipes.
Angry people in faction play.
Yes, I'm gonna have to chew off my freaking arm to go to faction play now.
Yeah, so it's the standard loot bag affair. You get enough match score in quick play or faction play, and you get a roll of the dice. For
Premium
random
time,
good-
MC, C-bills, GXP, MC consumables, cockpit items, coal, or grand
No
prize.
mech.
No, well, no, hold on. There's a mech. The grand prize can be acquired one per player. I don't know what the grand prize
There's a
is.
Krampus hanging item.
Oh, that's it?
as
That's
the
the grand prize?
Well,
Yeah.
there's more. That's just with the random rolls. It's
Oh,
a,
that's
a
stupid.
particular cockpit item. They did this.
There's also a 200 loot bag
Yeah.
pick a prize where you get one of the previous year's loyalty mechs and a
So-
mech bay.
Yeah. Oh, God. So you have to play 100 quick match games, get over, what, it's 150, right? And
Yeah.
then also, sorry, I was just asking. And
100 quick play, 50 faction play.
God, 50 faction games.
No, it's gonna be more than that.
Oh, God. To get 200 in order to get either the Blackjack 2, the Cataprac 3L, Stalker 3FB, the Hellbringer F, the Summoner F, or the Summoner M. Plus you get mech bays like with them as well. But you
So
gotta play
here's
200
something
games.
funny on the
Yeah, go
sides of the looty things. Under
looty
match
things.
loot bags, it says earn a minimum match score of 100 thingamajiggy to earn one stocking stuffer loot bag.
Yeah.
Maximum of 100 quick play loot stockings.
Yeah,
And
so,
then-
yep.
So it says in 50 faction play, you get 2 bags per match on faction play.
Mhm.
Never mind.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's
I was about
50
to say,
scouting matches that you gotta do.
But
But
it's a match score of
250.
250. You have to match. You have to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
250
Now,
is pretty
I do
fucking
get
difficult.
250s on scouting with streaks.
Yeah, streaks are
Well-
just easy for the interferer to get 250, man.
We did the math last time they did one of these things. You needed what, like 400 damage?
Yeah.
470 points of damage, and they went to get 250 match score.
And it's
Yeah.
pretty easy to do.
Mhm.
You know,
So,
especially
yeah,
with 3 Contaros and one Griffin.
Yeah, so 100 for quick play and 100 for faction play is just enough to get you that free loyalty mech. Now, the loyalty mechs are already out for C-bills. Are these the C-bill variants, or are they the ones with the special camos and C-bill boosts?
From what I looked up, they're the standard ones. They're just the standard
It looks
mechs.
like it.
Yeah. So you get free mechs basically.
Yeah, Stalker and Cataphract are definitely worth it. I don't know about
Yeah.
the rest.
The Blackjack's not too bad. You just got to really watch what you're doing on it.
It's a missile
Yeah.
missile blackjack. Yeah.
It's a rocket. It's a rocket 80 with two Snuggles PPCs.
Don't knock that blackjack. I've picked up liquid metal in it.
Oh yeah, it's good. You just got to run it right.
Streak quirks.
Yeah.
No, I ran it with SRMs before, they were good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean the biggest money ones would probably be like the summoner or maybe the stalker, because
The
stalker's an
stalker.
assault, but summoner's got a big giant engine.
Hellbringer, because why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, the helping is kind of decent, so you might want to get that one. Cataphract's also quite fun. It's got mask.
Yeah, I like the Cataphract for mask, and then the Stalker is the one with ECM.
Is the Cataphract the loyalty one?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the loyalty cataphract was the one with mask.
No, the one that actually it's going to give us the 3L.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the mask one.
all the mechs on the pick a price thing are last year's loyalty mechs.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad. I'll probably get the Stalker thing because I don't have that one.
In my personal opinion, at least, the mask cataphract struggles a little with actually finding a loadout that really, is its own. But yeah, taking a giant engine in with mask and the cataphract, hilarious.
LB20 and 5 medium pulses is a joy.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, so to earn all these matches, there are 100 quick plays. That's a lot of meching.
Yeah, but you have a long time to do it though. It's from the
how many
19th
days?
to the
You've got 2 weeks over Christmas.
yeah.
It's starting in like 4 days, and then it's ending January 3rd.
But you do get 25 bonus stocking stuffers from the holiday, like on the 27th, and then also if you buy the Sun Spider, you get another 25, so possible 50. So you only have to do 25 faction warfare matches.
And the Piranha will probably be figured into it as well.
Maybe.
And usually the way they do these bag things is you only get the extra 25 once. So if did they include the Piranha the last time they did the bag stuff?
Yeah,
Nope.
I'm not sure.
The
I'm
Piranha
actually-
Like
wasn't, the
also
Piranha
where's the
wasn't
Black
released.
Lana? Like I swear the Black Lana hasn't been.
Yeah, so we got the Lantern and the Piranha that'll also be added into the earned bonus bags.
Actually,
should-
no,
it
the Black
better.
Lana
Oh,
most
no?
definitely won't, because that one was involved in the last one.
Was it involved in the
right.
last one?
The Black
it-
Lana was definitely in the last one.
So it only has the Sun Spider and the one bonus day from the Thingamajiggy event in the bonus bag redeems.
So I don't
Interesting.
actually think they're gonna add any other.
Yeah. So they're
So-
gonna force us to play. That's
Yeah.
Yep.
It's quite the grind
Damn
unless you want
them.
to get the Sun Spider, which I think at least because we thought this was run on quite some time, we're moving to next week.
Yeah. Wow. I God damn it. I gotta do faction play. Fuck. I hate that. I hate that mode. So
well. Looks like we're gonna be
dumb.
doing some more scouting.
Yeah. Shit. Okay.
Time to
Sorry.
dust off the Kintaros.
Before we quickly round up, because we're reaching our time here, and
Yeah, sorry about
we've
that.
got a wild Commander Lemming here. Perhaps
Yes.
we
I've
should
been
just-
here the whole time. I don't know what
Um,
you're talking about.
Mhm. What's your thoughts on the HellSpawn or the most recent patch?
Oh, the HellSpawn! I fucking love that thing. It's
Figures.
really hard to find its CT hitbox from its left torso hitbox. I haven't even quite figured that out yet.
Oh, we just
But-
covered that
Yeah,
actually.
we discovered that, yeah.
That protrusion that comes out, that's all sort of the CT other than the right hand side of it. So
Yeah,
just that
but-
bay door behind what the bay door is, the left torso.
Weird.
Mhm.
So you guys tested that, and
Yes.
but
and
yeah,
that little antenna behind your head thing, that weird dish and whatever that is, that's also CT.
it actually, despite it looking sort of like the dragon, it's really hard to kill because it has very good shaped arms to block its CT, and it's got decent armor quirks so you can shield with that right torso. And I like it. I want one, but I'm still sticking to the no money for PGI till they start making good decisions. So,
Speaking of good decisions, maybe one thing we definitely need to mention at least once before we end the podcast. December 27th. Mark the day in your calendar. We're going to talk about it next week, but just so you're aware. December 27th.
You
Yep.
get a lot of stuff.
We have a lot
Lots
of
of
stuff to
stuff.
cover, man.
yep.
Free toys.
Well, since Commander Lemming was the last person here, he gets to go ahead and do the outro. Right?
Or what?
The outro. So,
Let me get
it's very
ambushed. Engage.
so Commander Lemming, you have the con, and get us out of here.
This was the First Circuit podcast number
19.
19.
19. This has been Aethermech,
Waka 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 waka.
Biter,
Warg.
Ian,
Boy.
and Old Bob.
Hello, everybody.
And then me, I was here the whole time.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching.
Also about Larsh's stream.
Oh yeah, Larsh is doing a charity stream that is starting tonight and going all the way for 24 hours. So
That's in
get
2
in there.
hours.
Yeah,
It
that's
starts in 2 hours. All kinds of giveaways.
It starts in 1 hour.
1 hour. I
Or-
thought,
yeah,
oh, 7.
it
Yeah,
starts
okay,
at-
7. Yeah.
Yeah,
It starts at
in
10
1 hour.
p.m. or it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard
EST.
Time.
And yeah,
There's prize support for participating in the event, so hang out, poke Larsh, try to keep him awake for an hour or for a day. Have fun. He's the poor guy.
Stream
He
snipe
plays-
him again, maybe.
He plays 1 hour, and then we all start going singing lullabies.
thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, my friend. You are
All
now
right, guys.
a
Thanks. Bye.
welcome to the old folks
watching.
home. See you guys later, and I'll see you on the battlefield.